All right, so we're live. So welcome. Thank you for joining us, Ron. So this is a little bit of a different Website Wednesday from usual. I've invited Ron Carmichael to come and talk to us about short form video because some of the data that he's been sharing with me has literally just been blowing my mind. So we're going to dive into this in a kind of interview style, which is totally different from our normal our normal Website Wednesday, but I thought it'd be really useful for you all. So do hop on and say hi if you are joining us live, and just put #replay if you're watching on the replay. But Ron, thank you so much for joining us. Thanks for coming on and sharing some of your insights and some of your wisdom with us today. So let's just jump straight in because we're going to keep this short. Just tell us a little bit about what short form video is.
Okay, so in my book, short form video is anything under sub 60 seconds, so less than 60 seconds.
Okay, and you're seeing pretty good results with that at the moment, are you?
Mind blowing. Even I am staggered, and I thought I've seen a lot. Yes, I am, and it's not. And I'm sure you will come to this. It's not the obvious things that I thought I would see. It's all the other stuff that's starting to make me go, wow. Now, I, like everyone, was skeptical. I've been using short form video for a long time, but I was skeptical, particularly of some of these newer platforms. And now even I am being bowled over, to be quite honest.
Okay, and so do you have a preference of any of those platforms, or are you just repurposing your videos across all of those different platforms?
That's a great question. So I started out by using short form video purely as a repurposing mechanism. So like you get in the film industry, where you have teasers and trailers, I would, and particularly on my agency side, we would take snippets and pieces and we'd feed that out. And we are syndication ninjas. I came out of the SEO world, so we knew how to syndicate, like the newspapers do. They syndicate content everywhere with the idea of getting someone back to wherever you want them to be. So that's kind of how I came at it. To answer your question, things have totally changed in the last few years. And last year we started seeing a lot of stuff coming together. So how I use video now has pretty much entirely changed. It doesn't mean I don't repurpose existing content for the same reasons as feeder, as little tidbits, but actually now in its own right, it is a strategy in its own right as a standalone. And like probably many of your people here listening, I was a big TikTok skeptic. I mean, I've seen all these others. I've seen, the Clubhouses, the Snapchats come and go, or whatever, all these other platforms come and go. And we make strategic bets. I'm a strategy guy first and foremost, so I will wait for evidence that it's worth it. I had enough people I know who are fairly big in the online space who I've known for years, and they were going, Ron, you've really got to wake up to this. You've got to look at it. So I started taking it more seriously. And then I started getting blown. At first I went, another dancing video. I'm really not interested. So to answer the question, then I've totally changed it. So I will, some of the time I will have a shorts first. So I will start by producing short video content or as a standalone strategy. And the one often to start with is TikTok, funnily enough.
Okay, so TikTok is your kind of go-to place for short form, is it? That's where it all begins for you.
Well, I'm going to have to be careful how I answer this because we use it. Yes, I would say to most people, it's a very good starting point. But again, it's because it's easy and because it's simple and easy. And that's the really big thing to get about this, because it's become very simple and their app's quite clever. And I'm not saying that you just have to, this is definitely not dancing videos. This is definitely not all this clever stuff that people are doing. So simple video formats done because it's quick and easy. And the reason for TikTok is because of where they are as a platform and what they're doing. And it's giving me by far, I mean, if you have a look at my social media, if you're going to have a look at TikTok, I think I've got 39 subscribers. I've got nothing, absolutely nothing, because I've been playing with it. And if you look at the content, don't ignore most of the content I've got on there because I've been playing with stuff. Actually, I've been playing with stuff behind the scenes and we've been doing other stuff for clients. But it's entirely changed. I'm now rolling out my strategy because I'm clearer. I know what I need to do. I know where my audience is and what I'm trying to do. But in terms of the reach and virality, virality is the wrong word. In terms of my reach that I'm getting, it's just unprecedented. It's really ridiculous. I've got some reasonably big channels, but TikTok is just giving me way more. Okay.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, that's good to hear. But and in terms of measuring that success, is that literally just the insights on the platform that you're looking at, or is there a different way that you're looking at measuring those?
Yeah, because this is a great one. This is always an emotive topic, because the ego and the hits that we get, the dopamine hits we get from these platforms, which they're very good at, because they're wired into our brains. They know how to foster this feeling. So the dopamine hits we get are out of the likes and shares. So that's the feel good factor. That's not what I'm interested in. The single most important metric is engagement. Because if you start watching engagement, that will tell you if your video is resonating with the right people. Because anyone who's going to engage with a video, and this has really come out. YouTube was kind of where I got involved in all this video piece, and that's what started me. 13 odd years ago, I was using video for entirely different reasons, and YouTube. But YouTube's the same. If you look at where the engagement is, it tells you whether you've got a good video or not. That's the same for TikTok. The algorithm is so much more superior. But if you know you're getting good engagement on your videos, well, anyone who's going to watch your video is going to be someone who's interested in what you're talking about. Yeah. So that means watch engagement. That tells you the video is good. Forget all the virality and everything else. They feel nice. It's great. You can have it. But engagement is the single most important thing to watch. So you need to start drilling into your metrics. Once you know what's working and you know you're getting good engagement, then the people who are going to be watching that are going to be interested in your topic. Now, here's the thing to remember. If it's engaging with those people, these social media platforms are very good for creating that bubble world. So, of course, what they're going to do is they're going to see more of your content. So TikTok is particularly good at it. Their algorithm is really sharp, and all of them are good. But TikTok seems to be even better, and it creates a bubble world very quickly. So if you're using it for that reason, people are engaging. They're then going to see more and more. You become the de facto standard because all they're seeing is your content. And that's kind of where I think that's where most people are missing it. That's where it gets important.
Yeah. Okay. That's really good. And so I think that people, one of the things they really struggle with, especially if you're suggesting that people go away and start making 60-second videos, they're like, well, what do I talk about? So is there a way, or do you have a method or a process for people to start creating and generating content ideas for these short videos?
Yes. And can I just break that down into two different points?
Yeah.
Because as you know, and me building my personal brand is a bit of a new journey for me because I've got agencies, we've been working for clients, we do everything for them there, and that's different. Me building what I'm trying to do to impact and help more, as I call them, the hidden experts or experts in hiding. So people who've got expertise, who've got knowledge, who've got great skill sets and need to make a greater impact in the world, they're not getting seen or heard. So my mission had been to move over and to help more people through using video achieve that. My single biggest stumbling block, well, there's been two. One is getting people to get on camera because there's this fear of this little lens in front of you.
Yeah.
But the other one is just getting people to make content because it seems kind of scary to, oh my God, I got to sit down, I got to plan, I got to make content, which is why on the agency side, we go and do all that for them. We do that we script and we literally, we block out time, we sit them down. We've got every trick in the book for helping people overcome all these fears and hurdles. We learned the hard way. And I learned very hard way. Shoots that should have taken half a day ended up taking it 3 days. You learn quickly, particularly when you've got production teams on site and things like that. The single biggest problem I've had is getting someone to pick up a camera just to shoot some videos. If you tell them, can you shoot it? Do you think you can shoot a video of 60 seconds or less by just picking up your iPhone, shooting it, and here's some things to help you? They go, yeah, of course I can do that. Suddenly, you've just removed a massive obstacle and hurdle to people creating video content. So for me, the part of the hidden strategy is, well, it's a great way just to get people used to creating videos. Once people get through that hurdle and get used to it, they find it, actually they enjoy it and they find it fun and they go, well, this is great. I want to do more of this. So that's the one side. So there's a hidden strategy there because it's just a very, very good way, but it's also bloody effective. If you use that across the different platforms, you're onto a winner, because I have never seen a way that you can build authority, trust with an audience like you can with short form video. And the beauty is, I'm a huge fan of do it once and use it many platforms. Some people are against that. So be it. It works. That's a simple reality. And that's why the 60-second comes in as well, because by doing sub 60 second and creating one, you can multi-purpose. You can use that across Facebook Reels, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts. There's none of that. Now, some of them, obviously TikTok and others and Instagram will take longer videos. Forget it. You can just very quickly use that, and it's great feeder content. To answer the second part, in terms of content, I find that remarkably easy. And I would bet that for most of your viewers, if they start down thinking, because you're experts, you know your subject matter. So there's a couple of ways to address it. One way is, you know what the pain points are. What can you get over in 60 seconds? And the great thing with this short form video is it means it's very snappy. It's very, hook, bang, bang, some value points. Here's what you want you to do next. And that's kind of how, if you think about short form advertising, works in a similar fashion. So if you can do that, if you know where the real pain points are, you know what the frequently asked questions are. You also know the questions they should be asking probably aren't. What's going on in their minds that they can help them address this particular problem. If you can produce that in snappy form content, then that is where it's most effective. Now we have, when we're mapping out, we do this milestone journey, which I think you're familiar with, and that they become the content pillars for everything we do. These are what we hang our content for our bigger pieces of content. Well, that's exactly the same. All we're doing is breaking that down into micro pieces of content around what is it I like to talk about? What is it I know will make a difference? How do I help that person get a little bit further towards the next step in their journey, or to where they need to get to? That is the most powerful form of content. And that is where TikTok has absolutely changed. And that for me was the game changer. I kind of thought it was happening. I could see it. I read enough about where they were planning on going with their different video formats. And despite being inundated with stupid dancing videos and short form and everything, and they still are, but there was a pattern, and now it's being reinforced by other people I see who I regard as, they know what's going on in that platform. And they've stopped doing all this fancy stuff, and they're doing very straight to camera. They're doing some stuff with it, but they're doing hook, content, call to action. Yeah. And that's it. So what I suggest people do, though, is if you sit down, just start writing, right? What ideas, what do you think, what beliefs do people have? What pain points? Talk to your audience. If you can talk to them where they're at and the pain point, you will start hitting some home runs. Some of the ones you think are going to work may not.
But interestingly, that 60 seconds isn't much. So I started doing what you suggested. So I did a couple earlier this week. And the great thing about TikTok is that you get that little wheel that spins. So you can see how long you've been on and been recording for. And 60 seconds, it's like a blink of an eye. And I think what that does as well for our audience, like these coaches and course creators who might have some resistance to being on camera, and often the idea of being on camera and putting yourself out there and making yourself more visible, a lot of that resistance is around fear of judgment. And actually in a 60-second video, there's nothing to judge really as such. There's nothing that you can really stumble up against. And so, I think it's great. I'm excited about doing more of it and really diving into it and seeing what its full potential is. So,
again, sorry, and I know just to pick up, you're absolutely right. It compresses everything. You're not having to think too hard because there's a clock running. So you're having to move quickly. And the beauty about it is it actually overcomes one of the greatest hurdles, which is just put it out there, test it, because the market is your judge. Sometimes invariably, the content I think that's going to work kind of does all right, or it does well. The stuff that often I would just, we'll try something and think, okay, right, here's a different angle, or I'm not sure this is going to work. That's the stuff that blows up. But here's the important thing for people to remember. So quickly think through your write a topic. Start by writing the hooks, write the headlines, because it's that's important. So start to write, and then write those hooks, so write ideas. And this is where the likes of AI and the chat GPTs and the Jaspers are very good, because if you're short of ideas, Those are great tools to go and use to generate ideas. Where we used to do a lot of search, we'd go into Google, we'd look for FAQs, we'd go onto Quora, we'd go onto all these different sites. You just go onto one of these AI tools. That'll get you the creative juices going. Then go away and start writing them as hooks. What is going to capture that attention of someone who's going to stop? And that's your classic, direct copywriting stuff. All right. So do that. And then, yes, and you'll get used to it. Once you start, you've got to be succinct.
Yeah. Okay. Succinct. We like that. We definitely like that. So those are good. So I like your little framework of the hook, the value, and then the call to action. And that we should still be putting a call to action even in those short forms, shouldn't we? Give them the next step, tell them what to do next.
Yeah, and the jury's still out to some extent on this one. I'm a believer that if you don't ask for it, you don't get it. So sometimes you've got to make a stronger call to action. But the light call to action. So here's the other side of it, and here's the hidden side of all this. Again, because it's the stuff that's under the radar, that's under the hood, that's probably the most exciting piece of it. So what tends to happen is, so you do a soft call for follow for more, this instance, or, which is kind of why I like, check out link in bios at the story.
Yeah.
And as I mentioned to you, rather than send it off to some third party, we'll make it, and that fits right into what you're talking about. That's your landing page. And if you're getting people, now once we find something we like, we're inquisitive. We're naturally nosy. And don't go and look at mine because they're some of the worst. I haven't done all the stuff I should have done on my own profiles, but I'm in that process, which is why I built this link in bio page, which is one page on my website. It's got it because actually I can see the traffic. I can see what action they take, but people are naturally nosy. So what they'll do is they go off and check it out. And what you start to see is the people who like the people who like and share your content invariably probably aren't the ones who are going to buy from you, funnily enough. It's the ones who are lurking around. What they do is they start going and consuming all your content. So they go off to you. So TikTok links to Instagram and YouTube anyway. So if you can't do a LinkedIn thing or whatever, a clickable link, send them off there because they're going to start looking at it. And they're going to start looking at your content. They're going to check you out. They're going to start following you everywhere else. And that's where it gets really interesting. And that's what I've seen, because suddenly I'm starting to see this spillover into other areas, and I go, wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So that's worth remembering.
That's great. And also we're hearing about TikTok becoming, a really prominent search engine as well. And I guess that plays into it as well.
Massively. So if you've ever been in the YouTube world, you kind of understand this because it's a keyword rich platform. YouTube is a pain in the backside, to be quite honest, because you've got to play their game in a certain way. So there's a particular strategy, although I think that Shorts is now helping them. Where they were in a mess last year, Shorts and long form were a complete nightmare. Now it's a synergistic strategy. One will catapult the other. But TikTok is a search engine. And so that's why when you're writing your hooks, you also want to be thinking about the keywords. And descriptions are short. Think about keywords, hashtags. Think about some of the keywords as well. What are people searching for? And that's important. And that will only get stronger with TikTok, because TikTok want to keep people in their world totally. And for a generation now, even though the demographics go out, for a generation, they live on this device. That's what they do. They do everything within. If you give it to a kid, or let's say a teenager or a bit older in their 20s, and they'll obviously those demographics, they will go up with that. But they are living on TikTok. They're doing everything. I mean, I started doing this, I think, is this serious? Because I've been around too long. And I realized that they live in the TikTok ecosystem. They consume content, they search for content, they do everything with that environment. And that's what TikTok wants.
Yeah. And I guess that's what all the platforms want, but TikTok's probably doing it a little bit better. So, okay, that's great. So listen, we could natter on for hours about this, but I know that we should just keep this tight, keep it short. You are running a challenge. Tell us the dates. We've got some free training coming up, haven't you?
Yes. I've forgotten the dates as well. I think it's the 6th of February. I should remember my own dates, but there's so much going on. I'm doing some live mini masterclasses. So yes, I'm doing a 5-day challenge, free challenge, where starts on the 6th. There's a link here. It's a waiting list at the moment, but the date's on that page anyway. I'll open up for registration shortly, because one of the things I'm thinking about doing as an adjunct to it, and maybe for those people that sign up with VIP, is I'm thinking about doing a special breakout session on short form video as an extra. Because again, I'm seeing so much going on there. I'm actually in the process of going to do a workshop as a higher level, but I'm thinking about doing something around the challenge. But that challenge is more important because at the end of the day, all this stuff is great, but we're all business owners. So it's got to work for us. We're not content creators. We're not influencers. We've got limited time during the day. So how we use, and that's one thing I've just got to say, sorry, let me just go off a quick tangent. One of the important things with this short form video is consistency. TikTok gives you a bit more leeway, but consistency, particularly across the other platforms, but consistency wins the day. So getting out there and filming a series of videos and then scheduling them to go out is very, very helpful. Okay. So consistency is really, really important. And that kind of forces you into it. In the challenge, what I'm going to cover though is that this whole how to use video, but it starts before that because, and this again fits into what you talk about, Vicky, with in terms of the website, but sometimes you don't need even a website. It's the funnels. And I start with, and my whole story is you can't pour rocket fuel into a broken engine. Well, this short form video strategy is kind of taken to the next level. And I won't go there yet. Taken to the next level, it's pure rocket fuel. Well, I will. Let me give you a allude. Imagine just running an ad related strategy, just using Reels. As I have a particular strategy we've been using for a long time called purposeful positioning strategy. I'm looking at how we just use that within the Reels environment and serve up more content to our people and keep them in that and keep that fulfilling. And then we make offers and get them to do what we want. That to me is just mind blowing because the power of it is just beyond ridiculous. But there's no point doing that if you don't have the right building blocks in place. And the thing I've seen is people build the wrong things in the wrong order. So let's get the order right, put the right building blocks in place. Again, it fits into exactly what you're talking about. Here's what you need. You don't need everything most people tell you, but there's some things you really do. And that's down to your offer, your messaging. Messaging is so key. That's how you stand out in this world of short form video. Everyone's attention deficit. Your message is important. Stories, messages, and everything else. Absolutely. Does that help?
Yeah, completely. And there's a couple of questions. Let me just have a look. So I think this is Miriam says, lovely to see you, Vicky. I've just launched my very imperfect website. We love imperfect action.
Look, and short form video will teach you more than ever. Or you do what I do, which is you jump, say you're going to do something and you haven't got an idea because that kind of forces you to. So absolutely recommend it. Take imperfect action. It's beautiful. fail fast, as I used to say.
That's it. Fail frequently and fast. So Rosemary says, great points and guidance. Thank you, Rosemary. Kate says, congratulations, Miriam. Someone, I can't see who this is. Let me just see. Is our data safe with TikTok? I've heard some horror stories about TikTok having access to our personal data. Have you got
that's a great one? Yeah, I do. Yeah. There's a whole that's what this is what the whole online world's good at. It's conspiracy theories and everything else. And because it's the Chinese, there's a Chinese, obviously it's owned by China. So yeah, simple thing is, look, the reality is they've all got access to your data and you don't realize how much access they've got to. And it's not, I suspect Google and Facebook have more private data on you than TikTok ever will. So don't worry about it. I haven't seen any reason or cause. Well, actually, I have, because if you're in this space, it's going to happen, whatever. And I don't mean your personal data in terms of access. So don't worry about that. They've got access to a lot of information on you, but they're not mining for stuff like that. That's simple.
It's a good question, whoever that was.
It's a very good question, because there is, and don't start watching videos about that because you'll see a whole lot more of them. Again, that's because the algorithm works.
Jackie, your name is showing up. I know usually it doesn't, but Jackie's just saying thank you. And Rosemary's agreeing. Yes, the right building blocks. Absolutely, 100%. We talk about that a lot. So
total.
Fabulous.
Nothing more important. Right. No. And that's again where most people get wrong. Right order, right steps. I've got in the 5-day challenge is the 5 simple steps to skyrocket your business.
Brilliant.
And that's exactly what it's about. Get these steps in right, then you can start doing clever stuff. And that's how you grow, and you can grow it rapidly. There's no problem about growing it, to be quite honest. And once you started making video, you're in the right space. If you can start making video, and that's why short form is so great. If it gets you out of that space of not creating content, I could give you a reams of reasons to do it, but actually you've got to want to do it. And I've got other ways to take you out of yourself. But once you start doing that, the power, particularly for what we're doing as personal brands and business owners and entrepreneurs, to build it, there's nothing. In fact, I implore you to, because there's a lot of people out there misusing this stuff who are the least qualified people to do it. I want to see the people who can genuinely make an impact, who are the genuine experts, which is kind of what's making me step up. I want you, for your voice to be heard and to help more people.
Brilliant. All right. Thank you, Ron. Thank you so much for sharing that with us, because I think for lots of people, like, we all know we should be doing video. It's not going anywhere, but actually it's really good to have a light shining onto short form and just giving us a quick insight into the kind of things that we should be doing. And Ron's very kindly agreed to come into the Visibility Vault to talk to us more about video strategy next month. So Rosemary, you will be seeing Ron next month. But thank you so much. And for those of you who want to go and check out Ron's challenge that he's got coming up early next month, it is the URL is on the screen in front of us. Brilliant. Go and enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you, Ron, for joining us for my very first interview on a Website Wednesday. So thank you for breaking the ice with that. All right, take care, guys. Bye for now.
And just a quick word: if anyone wants any help, then please do reach out to me. If I can be of any assistance, then I want to encourage you to take action and get going. So either join me on the challenge. I will talk a lot more than I should on the challenge. You'll get insights and nuggets more than you should, but hell, that's it. So thank you very much. I appreciate your time, and it's very valued. So thank you.
All right. Thanks, Ron. Take care. Bye.
Thank you.
All right.